Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Universal Furniture. My name's Kayla Miller, and I'm the Director of Marketing here at Universal. Before I turn it over to Gail, I wanted to let you know some new things we have going on in our showroom this market. So we have two new collections this market, Birch Haven, which is located on floor 2. We have an addition to our modern collection on floor 3. We have tons of new upholstery that are sprinkled throughout the showroom, with the mass majority of them located here on the first floor in our section called Living Room. While your guys are here, definitely check out our Designer's Lounge, which is also located on floor 1, right outside in the lobby. You can also grab a scanner at the front desk, and as you're touring our showroom, you can scan everything, and when you check out, you'll get an email emailed to you with everything that you scanned in our showroom with pictures, because I know when you're touring around High Point taking tons of pictures, sometimes it's hard to remember where you took that picture. So we do the work for you here at Universal. So everybody help me give a warm welcome to Gail.
Thank you, Kayla. We always love coming to Universal. It's a favorite place. I think this is maybe 10 or 12 times that we've been on stage here, which we really appreciate. So it looks like some of you want some new clients. Is that true? Okay. Well, let's talk about this today. And I've just got to read this. I got this in the email just a day or two ago. It is from somebody that I gave this exact information to probably 4 months ago. She said, I find my best success is to implement coaching advice immediately. So that's exactly what I did. For me, that meant eliminating a marketing platform I'd been working on for 6 months with no results and redirecting all my efforts into another marketing area. And I felt it would be successful. Following Gail's advice and creating a singular strategic focus, I was able to secure paid projects into 2026. Anybody want that? Okay. And that's a first for her since she started her firm back in 2012. So I am giving you information that I know works, and we have taught this so many times, and I just really want to encourage you to take a lot of notes. We've got some handouts. Does everybody have a handout? You in the back? You need some? We can get you some. Patty, could you help them out back there in the corner? Hello. We've got some handouts, so if you're going to sit in a seat that doesn't have one, let us get some for you. Okay, give me 2 seconds, and I'm going to get over to my notes for today. Okay. So on your seats, we gave you this card, and we actually put this, and it's a little provocative, $1 million net profit. Is this really possible for your design firm? How many would love that? There you go. I love it. We have 15 clients that have reached this, and we have one that's going to hit $2 million net this year. And we have some other clients that they've been out of the program for a long time, but I am quite sure that they've also achieved that as well. So the first thing we're going to do is take a little quiz today. So I want you guys to take a few minutes, and on the very first, or on the front cover here, there are some questions. So I'd like you to take just a couple of minutes and write down what you think marketing is. Okay, for those of you that just walked in, we're doing a little bit of a quiz here, and it says, what do you consider marketing? So go ahead and write some notes on that. Anybody else need a handout? Okay, everybody have an answer for that one? Now, how many hours a week do you spend marketing? That's the next question. Do you consistently market every day? And that's a yes or no. So you can just circle that. What is the return on investment that you get for the time and money spent? So if you spend $1, what do you get in return? If you spend an hour, what do you get in return? Nothing? Nothing yet. Okay. Do you put your client work ahead of your marketing, yes or no? And do you feel uncomfortable asking for business, yes or no? Has everybody got answers for all these now? Okay. So what do you consider marketing? Who'd like to be courageous here. Yes, please. Okay, hang on 2 seconds. We might need to get you a microphone. Sorry to put you on the spot here. We want to be able to hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I just said making my work and services offered visible to, in parentheses, hopefully the right audience.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And we had a question or a comment right over here.
I said outreach, sorry, I have a loud voice anyway, to potential new clients.
Okay, great. Who else has an answer? Okay, behind you.
I put a way to reach my ideal client and get paid projects.
We do like paid projects, yes. Okay, here's somebody.
I do mine by connecting with realtors and, repeat that, please. Wine and dine realtors and make them your marketing partners.
That's great. And if you hit $1 million net already, then you know how to do that. Awesome. Anybody else? Okay, we've got one up here too.
Making yourself visible.
Okay, great.
Just everything to do with brand exposure and recognition.
Okay, great. That's great. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little story. Anybody like stories? If the circus is coming to town and you paint a sign saying the circus is coming to the showgrounds Saturday, that's advertising. If you put a sign on the back of an elephant and walk it into town, that's promotion. If the elephant walks through the mayor's flower bed and the local newspaper writes a story about it, it's publicity. And if you get the mayor to laugh about it, that's public relations. If the town citizens go to the circus, you show them the many entertainment booths, explain how much fun they'll have spending money at the booths, like our clients, answer the questions, and ultimately they spend a lot at the circus. That's sales. And if you planned the whole thing, that's marketing. Yep, it's as simple as that. Marketing is a strategy you use for getting your ideal target market to know you, like you, and trust you enough to become a customer. All the stuff you usually associate with marketing are tactics, and that's from Alan Dibb. So I think that was really kind of an interesting story because it illustrates how important it is to understand the difference between all of the things we do. So let's take a look at these little diamonds, or triangles, over here on your document. So a lot of people, when they're fairly new to the business, end up thinking that they need to do advertising. And I would tell you, depending on where you are in your business, that's one of the least important things for you to do. And it's the place where you will spend more money on that than anything, and you'll get the least results. So if you want the majority of your business to come easily and inexpensively, so the best way to get clients is go to your current clients and get more business. So how many of you have done that? You've gone back, okay, great. So you already know that's the easiest way for you to get business because they know, like, and trust you. So it's usually 1 out of 2 will add on to their current project. And I've had that happen on almost every project that I've worked on. So that's the easiest way for you to get more business. The second way is your immediate past clients. So what happens after you have a client that has completed a project? How many of you keep in touch after that? Okay, and how many projects have you gotten as a result of that? Nodding heads, okay. So that's your second best way of getting clients. And usually you can get 1 out of 3 people to sign up for another project with you. So those are your 2 best ways of getting new projects. And the third one is client referrals. And that tends to be maybe 1 out of 7 will turn into a good referral. And we'll talk a little bit more in a little bit later about how you get your clients to refer you, because not all will, but some will. The next level is referral from partners. And the referrals from partners are great, but again, it's going to take longer, and you're not going to get as many of those to turn into clients. And down at the very bottom of this pyramid is advertising, marketing, and PR. And it's about 1 out of 13 people that see your advertising, PR, or marketing might reach out to you. and they may or may not be ideal clients. And in the end, we want ideal clients. So if you have ideal clients, you need referrals from some of the other people that you already work with. So if you look at the upside down triangle to the next, right beside this other triangle, you'll see that your best return is going to be the people at the very top of the pyramid. So if you spend your time there, you're going to get more people working with you. So that's the very best thing to do. So I'm going to go back to our quiz for a second and ask, and can we run, do we have a second mic? Okay, great. Okay, how many hours a week do you all spend in marketing? Somebody raise their hand. 2? Okay. 6? 5 to 10, okay. Got some over here, yes? 12 hours a week, great. Who else? Okay, so the last couple of people said around 10 to 12. I would say 10 is a really good number for you. And if you can do 10 hours a week, you're going to do great. And if you've heard me speak before, you've heard me say this. I promise you've probably heard it 100 times from me. But the best time to market is when you're the busiest. When you are the busiest, that's when you need to be marketing the most because you're filling up the future pipeline. So if you're not doing it when you are just absolutely, to the wall, that is your time when you need to do something about marketing. So get out there and hustle and get busy marketing. The other thing is, and I think this is very true for a lot of people, they don't plan their marketing. So how many of you actually have put a marketing plan together? Okay, a couple of you. That is terrific. Well, the more you plan and the more you execute on the plan, the better the results. And consistency is going to give you a consistent pipeline. If you're inconsistent with your marketing, guess what? You're going to have inconsistent clients. So if you're not marketing every single day, anybody do that every day? Okay, a couple of you do. That's awesome. What do you do to market yourself? What are some of those tasks you do every day? Okay. Instagram stories and reels. Okay, great. What else? We had a few of you back here.
One time I did 75 days of posting on Instagram, and that was consistent, but then I stopped, and then my lead stopped. Right now we are actively advertising on Meta, and it is working, but it is expensive. But we're constantly doing something, but we're not being consistent about what it is. So I'm learning from you right now.
Okay. Well, consistency is the important thing. So if you can do something every day. So if you have a plan, the best thing you could do is set aside a couple of hours right after market. Just go back and turn off the phone. Just don't let people interrupt you and sit down and do a marketing plan. And it doesn't have to be very long, maybe even 30 days, but just say, what can I do to reach out to my current and past clients for more business, and start there. So I have one of my clients, and it's really a great story. She's got she's probably about 5 million right now. And the way she had to get her pipeline restarted after she was going through a very dry spell, she had no business and she had a team and she was worried about paying them. And she decided that she would sit down and write 50 handwritten cards to her past clients and her current clients. And she restarted her pipeline with just that. So think about that. That's a really simple thing to do. I'm sure you all have some cards that you can send out. And if you would write those cards to your past and current clients and to your referral partners, I think you would find that you would get some really great business very quickly. So anybody think they can do that? Okay. That's probably one of the easiest things for you to do. So what are some other things that you all are doing to bring in business?
Connecting with high-level professionals on LinkedIn and sending short messages just to start the conversation. And being very strategic about who you're connecting with.
Okay, that's great. Because you want to be connecting with people who know your ideal clients, right? So save yourself a lot of time. And if you have people like attorneys or CPAs, people that work with people that have money, that's going to be one of your best ways of connecting and getting some referrals. All right, so here's another question for you. How many of you have a written out ideal client profile? Okay, a couple of you do. So let me tell you what that is and why you need to do this. If you want to build your business with a particular type of clientele, you need to be able to know that client well enough that you know exactly what they're looking for and why they should hire you. So if you will take the time and just, in fact, if you need this, and Erin will shoot me for this, but reach out to us because we can help you. We have an ideal client profile, and you can fill this out. And if you haven't done it yet, you need to do it. And here's why this is so important. It's kind of like if you have a red car and you drive down the street and you just bought this red car, it's what's called reticular activation, which means that you see more and more people that are driving that red car just like yours if you have a red car. So what this does is if you have an ideal client profile, then you know what you're looking for and you know if that person calling you is the right person for you. Does that make sense? So if you don't have an ideal client profile, then you're kind of guessing. And if you're like a lot of designers who don't have a lot of business right at the moment, and you're just trying to get a job, then any job looks like the right job until it's not the right job. Anybody know what I mean by that? Yeah, amen. Because what happens is a lot of people end up taking the wrong projects because they're worried about filling the pipeline or paying their employees or paying the bills, right? So what we want to do is be ahead of the curve, and we need to be building all of the time. So an ideal client profile is going to help you understand who those people are that you want to attract. So take the time to do this, and it's going to take you a little bit of time. Not bad, but it's maybe an hour. But if you will do this, and also if you have team members, you need to share it with them and say if you are out and about and you start talking to somebody who is active in this particular community activity and they have kids and they live in this neighborhood, then you need to be able to talk about our business. So if you have that ideal client profile and you share it with your team can help you do the marketing. Anybody want to do that? Yeah, because you don't want to be doing all of that work. And it's something that we all end up doing every single day. So to me, marketing is like brushing your teeth. You've got to do it every day. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how to ask for referrals. How many have a good method for asking for referrals? No hands? Okay, kind of a so-so. All right, well, here's the thing. Do you feel uncomfortable asking for a referral? Okay, a lot of people do, and that's totally okay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to start planning ahead so that you're not embarrassed to ask for a referral. And the way you do this is when you sign a contract with a client, you let them know right up front, I build my business through referrals. My goal is to do a beautiful project for you that you just love and you want to tell your friends about it. So go ahead and tell them that from the very beginning when you sign that contract. And if you do that, what you do is when they have an installation and they're so excited, in tears, whatever, that's the perfect time to ask for that referral. And you can say, I'm so glad you love your home. If you know other people that would love to have this experience, we would really appreciate that referral. Okay? So that's a really easy thing for you to do. But the other thing is, you need to be very clear about who you want to attract. So that ideal client profile helps you succinctly say, here are the things that I'm looking for in a client. I'm looking for somebody who really needs our help. They're busy working. They don't have time to do their own design work. They really want somebody else to come and bring in that creative element into the project. So those would be a couple of things that I would tell the referral partner or the client and say, or if you have had a great experience with that client, and say, I want more clients like you that really love what we did for you. So you just explain to them what you're looking for. And the other thing that's really important in asking for a referral is to tell them, would you do me a favor and either connect us by Zoom, or would you do an email to both of us to connect us? Because don't just ask them for that referral and ask them to email you and they say, okay, here's the telephone number, you just call them. Well, guess what? Those people will never call you back. Anybody have that happen? I know I did. So the best thing for you to do is to just get in the habit of saying, would you do me a favor and just connect us by email? Or just do a telephone call, and maybe we'll set up a Zoom call. Whatever you can do, make sure that they're doing that warm handoff to you, because if you do, you're more likely to have that conversation. Does that make sense? Yeah, don't leave it up to them because they won't do it. And for some of you, I will just warn you that you are going to have some clients that won't refer you. Do you know why? They're busy. They're not thinking about you. They're not worried about your business. They think you have enough business sometimes. Or there are people that say, especially if you're doing high-end work, and I had this happen, they would not refer me because they didn't want their friends to know who they were working with. And they didn't want their friend's house to look like their house. So there are all sorts of reasons that people do not make referrals. And so you need to set this up at the very beginning of your project so that they know that their job is to give you a referral. And if you do this on the front end, you're going to have a lot less difficulty later. So get really good about asking for referrals. The other thing I would tell you is have a little courage. A lot of people get a little bit uncomfortable about asking for business. They feel unsure about it, or they feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to pester them about this. This is not what I want to do. But guess what? People like to help you. So ask them for help and just say, it's really important to me that that we're doing a really great job for you. And that leads to you giving us a referral. Okay, the other thing I would tell you is to train your referral partners. So how many of you get referrals from the plumbing shop, the cabinet shop? Other people that you refer business to? Okay, so you're getting some, but do you have a process that you follow to get referrals? Have you educated your referral partners about who you're looking for? Okay, if you haven't, do you have a one sheet that you can put together that describes your ideal client? And just give them an idea of what you're looking for. I'm looking for Mrs. Smith, who is active in this particular community activity. And she lives in this neighborhood, and she is looking to do a full house remodel. So you can talk about the different types of projects that you're looking for, because if they know what you're looking for, they can help you. But if you're not specific about it, they're going to just send you anybody. So I had a realtor friend that would, and I loved her to death, but occasionally she would send me a referral that was just not a good fit at all. Well, guess what? I didn't tell her how to do that. And if you have not told everybody how to give you a referral, guess what? You're going to get anybody. And anybody is not who you want. You want somebody who really fits what you're looking for in a business. Okay, so now we've talked about training and asking for referrals and training your referral partners. And then the other piece is you need to train your team to ask for those referrals as well. So if you have team members, and how many of you have team members? Okay, a handful of you do. So if you have team members, train them to ask for referrals. And it's pretty simple. If they're dealing with your client and you're not in the same room and the client is really happy about something, just give them the same language I gave you, which is, we love it when people are happy, and thank you so much for your kind words. The thing that would give us the most joy is if you would refer us. And it's pretty simple to have your team members do that for you. So the more you can do that, the better. Yes? Hang on 2 seconds. We'll get you.
Sorry. The question is, do you ever give incentives like a percentage or free gift or for any referrals that are given?
I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, I'm not sure this is working.
She asked if do you give incentives or a free gift?
You can, yeah. Some people will give gifts like maybe it's a dinner out, or maybe a spa gift card, or they might have some special gifts that they give. So, and some people have like a box that they put together for real estate offices. and they might have a candle, and they might have some information about their business, but they might also have some other ideas in there. But you can put together a box, and you can use that to meet realtors and give them a gift. Also, you can give a gift to the realtor that they can give to the client. So if they have a client who's wanting to, that just bought a new house, you can give a gift card to them to do some work, or maybe do a consultation. So those are some really simple things that you can do. Anybody else have questions about that? Okay, I think we're good there. All right, so here's the other thing. If you have team members, I want you to start getting in the habit, and if you don't have team members yet, just put this on your list for the future. But you want to train your team to help you interview people that call in who are interested in services with you. So how many of you have put together a whole list of questions that you use to take an intake? Okay, so you have some of you do. And if you don't, then you should have that. So come up with the questions that you need to ask at the very beginning. And one of the nice things is, once you start getting your teammates to actually do this intake on the front end, you're looking like a higher end client or a higher end firm, because you're not the one taking in all those intake calls. And the more your business grows, the less you want to take those front end calls. You want to do the second call. Okay, and if you do the second call, then you're taking care of your time and protecting that time from doing a lot of calls with people that aren't qualified. So make sure that you have a list of at least 10 to 15 questions that you give your employees, so they know what questions to ask to qualify that person, and make sure they're people you want to take on. The other thing I would tell you is, one of the best ways for you to get referrals is to give your clients exceptional service. Anybody read in here? Unreasonable Hospitality. Read that book. If you have not read that book, please do, and read it again and again, because this is about giving exceptional service. If you can give exceptional service, your clients are more likely to refer you. So just be sure and read that book if you haven't, or listen to it. And there's some great tips in there on how to be the best out there. So really think about how you can up-level your client service. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Oh, Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Giarda. It's really, really good. And it's so inspiring. He works so hard to get his restaurant to #1 in the world. And you can only imagine how long that took and how much effort they had to put into it. But he tells these great stories about finding out why people were coming into his restaurant. And some people were coming because it was a special occasion. Maybe they were getting engaged, and they were able to do these special things for the person that was there. And or just helping them, like if they were parked and they knew that they were going to have to run out and put money in the meter, he would send one of his team members to do that for them. So it's just all those little things that we can do that make us memorable. So let's be memorable, so that we're getting referrals from people who might be interested in our services. So just remember that it's up to us to remember that we're marketing all the time. And if you can make it easy for other people to refer you, you're going to get more business. So the hard way to make money, in my opinion, and a lot of you might have some disagreement about it, is to just feel like it's always looking for the next client. And again, I think the hardest part is just making sure that you are giving the best possible service, and then that makes it easy for you to get more business. So just really think about how you can be an exceptional service provider. And then the other piece is, make sure that if you are working with people that are subcontractors for you or contractors, that you're also treating them as well as you treat your clients. And if you do that, you will get so much more business from those people. So make sure it's easy. The hard way to make money is to have to go out and get a new client. The best way to get money is with clients you already have. So just make sure you're giving service. So another piece of making money is just making sure that you have your services dialed in. You have processes and procedures in your business. And I think there are a lot of people that I know that you get started in business, and that's probably one of the last things you want to do is write up a procedure for your business or a system or a process. But if you're trying to deliver world-class services, then you need to have things documented. And if you have those documented, it's easier to train your team to deliver at your level. So just really think about the fact that we have to do the hard things to make things easier. And if you can do that work ahead of time, you can start getting your team to really deliver that high level of service. So the other thing that I would tell you is that, like I said, 10 hours a week is like brushing your teeth. You need to do that every single week on your marketing. And remember that strategy trumps tactics. So having an ideal client profile and up-leveling your branding so that it appeals to the right kinds of clients. And making sure that your pricing model is really appropriate for the kinds of clients you're trying to attract. We did a panel this morning, and one of the things that was shared by one of our clients is she asked the people that did not sign up with her why they didn't sign up with her. And this one person said, we are expecting a luxury service, and you were priced at about $50 less per hour than anybody else. And we were wondering what we were giving up by working with you. And I thought that was a huge aha. I love that one. I wanted to share that with you because just think about that. Your pricing model has a lot to do with how people perceive you. So don't give it away. I promise you, don't try to be the cheapest person out there. Try to be at the top of the market for your area. And if you don't believe that you're good enough or as good as the other person, if you put your prices up there, I promise you, you're going to work harder to deliver at that level. So raise your prices and do this every single year. Promise me you'll do that? Okay, please. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to share with you, and I just wanted to make sure that you understand too, that there are a lot of ways that you can make more money in your business, and it's not by adding more clients. I know that might sound a little bit odd, but on the very back here, I've given you the top strategies for making more money without adding clients. Anybody want to do that? Okay, if you look at this sheet, what I've done is I've taken the revenue, and we're starting with $1 million business, and some of you might be there, some of you might not. And you have the cost of your products, so whatever those are, you subtract that, and you end up with your cost of goods sold and your gross profit. So in order to make more money, you can raise your price and you can charge more. So maybe you go to 1.2 million. So that's one way to raise your income. So you can go from, say, 6% net profit to 8% by just increasing your prices just a little bit, so 20%. So another opportunity is to reduce your overhead by 20%. So if you have costs to operate your business and you can reduce the cost by 20%, you can get yourself to 8%. That's a pretty significant amount of additional profit for your business. The other thing you can do is increase your time billing. So how many of you track your time? Okay, maybe a quarter of you. You've got to track your time, folks. And especially if you're the owner of the business, you need to track your time. Because if you don't track your time, I guarantee you have no idea how to schedule your work. And neither do your team members. And you don't know how to price things appropriately if you don't know how much time it takes, right? So increasing your time billing by 20% can increase your profit from 6% to 10%, that one thing alone. If you can take your markup up by, say, 20%. So in this particular example, in the first line, we had a 25% markup. So if you go to 35% markup, you can go from 6% to 11% net profit. Well, what if you did all of those things? You can go from 6% to 17%. So that's almost tripling your net profit, and you have not added one client. So I want you all to think about this. These are some really simple things that I'm sharing with you that may seem like, oh, I can't do that, or I can't raise my prices, or I can't charge more for my hourly rate, or I can't increase my markup. Do not be apologetic. You need to make money. Your job is to make money in your business. That's your number one goal in running a business, is to make money. So if you're not doing that, then try some of these tactics, because those will really help you. And it's not making you add more clients. So can you do that? Can you do one of these things? Promise me? Everybody, put your hand up. Okay. So try those opportunities, and I think you will find that your business will be a lot easier. So I've just tried to give you some really simple things today that you can do. I'm not giving you things that you can't do. It really comes down to you being consistent and working at it, and really just following the path that we've laid out here. And like that one client that sent me the email this past week, she's already booked out into 2026. So if you do these simple things that I just shared with you, you can do that too. So I'm happy to take some questions. So who's got questions? Let's start right here.
Thank you. This is really good.
Good.
Question on the marketing side. We've tried different digital marketing avenues, and then we had a light bulb moment a few months ago that we should be doing more like lead generation versus just marketing. So what are your thoughts on buying leads, buying lists, and trying to use that as your pipeline?
I don't think that's your best way, to be honest. You can do that, but it's going to cost you more money. I think you were just talking about how expensive it is to do ads. I would really encourage you to try the things I talked about, which are working at the top of the pyramid first. Do that first, and you can do these other types of marketing with the digital later. But make sure that you already have a steady stream of clients before you do that. Yeah, it'll be a lot more affordable. Okay, what else do we have?
Kind of not, I don't know. I was like 2 minutes late. I was just curious what your background is. I missed that part, and
Yeah,
I was really
no worries.
interested.
Actually, decades of being in the industry. I have a finance degree, and I have a design degree, and I have my own design firm. And I've been coaching now for almost 18 years. So just a little bit. Yeah. And when you didn't see our little card yet, but again, for those of you that walked in late, be sure and take this little business diagnostic. And we put on the front of the card, it's a little bit, for some of you, it might not feel like this is something you can do, but I promise you can. You can hit $1 million net profit, and we've had 15 of our clients do that. So we have one that she will hit $2 million net profit on $5 million of business this year. So she was not there when she started with us, and it really comes into the things that I talked about today. So I didn't hide anything from you all today. I shared some of the tactics and the methods that we go about teaching people so they can make more money. So if you can do even a couple of these, you'll increase your net profit. And net profit is what you can spend. Revenue, you can't spend. So it's really important for you to understand that you need to focus on the bottom line and not the top line. Okay.
Hi. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do you recommend or prefer a designed fee over the hourly, and why? Because it seems to be a mix when you talk to coaches as to what you should do. I know you said tracking your time is important, and I agree with that. But do you do the
I'm not a
design fee?
huge fan of fixed fees, and the reason I'm not is because I've looked at people's profit and loss statements, and in most cases, the people that have done that have lost about 50% of what they could have billed. And a lot of that is because they overestimate what they think they're going to make as profit from that fee, and they have underestimated how many hours it takes them. And I promise you, if you don't track your hours, you have no clue. Yes, you have a question? Oh, okay.
Yes. So this seems to be a little more about the residential part of it, but what about if you are a commercial designer, like hospitality and multifamily? Do these same tactics work in that
Well,
side?
especially these strategies on the back here, absolutely, 100%. Every firm can benefit from this. I don't care what kind of business you are, do that. Yeah.
Hey, that was so great. I can't wait to go home and do everything you told me to
Good.
do.
I'm so excited you said that.
I have a few questions because
Sure.
I'm more creative minded and my husband is more business minded.
Okay.
And what are like the key metrics we should be tracking? We're relatively new in the design world.
Okay.
Like, obviously, you're saying like profit, obviously, but like kind of the levers we can begin to understand and start pulling. We don't track time right now. I'm going to start doing it. I
Oh, yes,
promise.
you will.
But other than that, what are some other good key metrics?
Well, I think for sure net profit is one of the things you need to be tracking. To me, that's one of the most important things. The other part is you have to think about how many leads are you getting. So are you tracking that? Do you know how many people are reaching out to you every month or every week? Start tracking that because that is a leading indicator of your future business. So what that means is if you get 5 leads a week, out of those 5 leads, how many of those are qualified? If you only have one person that's qualified and you only get one really good person per week, out of maybe 4 weeks, how many new clients are you going to get? Maybe 1. Okay? So the more you start tracking these things, the more you're going to know, okay, I've got to get 10 leads a week calling me for me to get enough business to cover my income and also to pay my bills and to have profit left over. So I would say those are a couple of things I would tell you right off the bat. Yes.
Hi, Gail. How are you?
Good.
I had a quick question about the ideal client profile.
Sure.
I've been going to a lot of these panels, and I feel like I've been hearing mixed messages.
Okay.
And so when it comes to the ideal client profile, can it be 2 things where you are thinking about that perfect client that you want, but then also maybe the one that keeps the lights on? Like, can
Sure.
you create 2 client profiles? Is there room for
Okay.
that, or do you always stay with the one you really want?
It's going to be scary for you to take only the ideal ones, but I would tell you to do that because the ones who aren't can cost you so much stress and money, I cannot even tell you. So any of us that have been in business for any length of time would tell you there is nothing worse than taking the wrong ones. So don't take somebody just because they have the money to spend. Make sure that they fit your culture and that they respect you and they value you and they're willing to pay you. And if they don't take those clients. Yeah. Yes. Yes, okay, so Erin brings up a good point. You can have multiple avatars, and you can have somebody who's a residential client. You can have someone who is a new construction project. You could have somebody who is a hospitality job. You could have commercial, like light commercial. You can have a lot of avatars, but for, say, residential, try to have one avatar per vertical that you're doing. Does that make sense? You're going to disagree? Okay, Patty, disagree.
I'm sorry, I'm the director of coaching, and I disagree because maybe you target divorced CEOs who are too busy, don't really want to do anything, and maybe you also want that young mom who also just has no time, no desire. So
yeah, those are
both
2 different
residential,
avatars, yeah.
But both residential.
Sure.
So
I think you're going to have one primary one, though.
Okay.
I will say that. We can agree to disagree. Yeah, but I would just tell you that you're going to have a primary one because it's really hard to market to all of those different people at the same time. So pick one to start with and really go after that. That would be my first suggestion to you. Yes. Hang on a second. We're going to get you a mic.
I was saying if you've been in business 2 years, if you go back to your own projects, you're going to see pretty consistently 100,000, 200,000 per project, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're going to see your profile.
Yeah.
Just stick with those people and be like Southwest and just make money with it.
Yeah, and there you go. And I would also tell you that right now, the best time to up-level your profiles or your ideal client profile is right now because the people that are spending money have money. So it's not that you're just going for the pocketbook, but you are going for people who can afford to pay your services, right? Without sweating. And there are a lot of those people doing business right now. And I will tell you that I have clients across the country. Some people are swamped. They're doing great. They're adding to their teams. They are really expanding. So really just, you can have the multiple people that you go and serve, but the more that you try to market to, the harder it is to get a lot of attention and have directed money there too. But really think about up-leveling who you want to work with, but you have to up-level you and your skills and your services and what you do internally in your company. That's really critical. Okay,
Hi.
yes. Hi.
My question is, so my business is a few months old.
Okay.
So I don't have a deep reach of clients that I would reach out to in terms of marketing. So what would you suggest my marketing plan be when you don't have a lot of clients to send letters or,
Sure.
thank you cards to?
So do you have, are you in a neighborhood that you'd like to serve?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Start there. That's where I got my first projects.
Okay.
So I used my friends who had friends, and neighbors. That's how I got some of my best first projects. Yeah. And if you can do like a before and after on your house, if you're remodeling or you just redid a room, you can have a party at the house. That's a really great way of people coming and seeing your work. The other thing I would tell you is just start getting courageous and reach out to people that are realtors. And the realtors are great. So start building relationships. Start to get to know architects and contractors. Those are also really great ways to get business. Yes.
So we get a lot of client referrals,
Okay,
which is great. We have one client in particular that gives us a referral to basically everybody that she knows.
Okay.
And I say yes to almost everything. We just had a really bad experience with one of her referrals, and it was very difficult, and I went against my gut, which told me not to work with this person. But how would you, what would you suggest if you get a referral from a really great client, this client that refers us is awesome and spent a lot with us, trusts us, is a really great client, an ideal client, but their referral does not fit that. How do you tactfully not take that referral without discouraging that client from continuing to refer you to their friends that are?
Yeah, that's a hard one. And I would tell you that you have to really stick to your guns. If you have that red flag feeling, then don't take that client. And there are nice ways you can let them down and say, I just don't think I'm the right fit for you. That's probably the easiest and best way to handle that. And it's taking it on yourself. You're not blaming them for not being a good fit. And that's probably the nicest way. Yeah. I had a client or a realtor friend, and again, she referred tons of business to me. And she sent this guy, and the first thing he told me was, oh yeah, Edie wants you to work with me. And I'd love to work with you, and I'm retired now. So I have a lot of time, and I can be here on the job site every single day. And I said, oh my God, no. So I turned him down, and she was so upset with me. And I said, I gave him, I was in a book at that time. So I said, I referred him to a couple of other people. And I just said, I just wasn't the right fit for him. And she got over it, but she still gave me referrals. So just trust your gut, do what's right for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if she knew our ideal client profile better, she might have known, like my friend probably.
Yeah. And there may be personality things that you want to tell that person. Okay. And was she a friend? Oh.
And she was mortified, obviously. And, we didn't do it to make her feel bad. We're just like, how good of a friend is this person? Because we're about to go forward with them.
Yeah.
And we don't know what that's going to look like for you that referred this person to us. And she, at that point, was like, oh, well, she's a friend of my husband. I don't really want her to.
Oh. So maybe that means that if you ask more questions of the person that was referring before you pick up that phone or talk to that person and say, what can you tell me about them? What are they like? Are they decisive people? Are they easy people to get to know? Are they kind people? Just tell me a little bit about them. Yeah, how well do you know them? Yes, that's a good question. I like that. Please stick to your guns about your ideal client profile. Do not take red flags. Do not. You will regret it. Yep. Lost sleep, lost money, them not paying their final bills. Oh my gosh, there are so many things that happen. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Oh, blind.
You say, I love what you're thinking, but I'm not your right designer because I don't do that style.
That's a good one.
And
Unless your website looks like it.
whatever their style is, we're not quite there.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. What other questions do you have? Okay, we have one up here. Thank you. Thank you all for staying for the questions.
First off, thank you.
Of
Great
course.
presentation. I work in finance as my main job, and
good.
Madison started her business, gone off on her own. So, how has finance helped you at all?
Oh my gosh.
And also, as like, what would be your first strategic hire as like a one-stop shop?
I would hire somebody who can bill for you. So it needs to be a billable person. That's your first hire. You can outsource your bookkeeping, do that soon. And I would definitely hire somebody who can bring in money. But the other thing I will tell you is, depending on where you are, especially in your early business, I gave advice to one of my clients, and she already had a senior. So it was just a senior, and she is outsourcing her accounting. And that was great, and she needed to have another person. I said, hire another senior. So she hired another senior. And then she needed somebody else, and I said, hire another senior. So she hired 3 in a row. She now has a $3 million business. So if you hire the best you can possibly afford to have, they should make you money from day one. If you hire an intern, you're taking your time, which is billable at whatever, $150, $250 an hour, and you are taking that time to teach that person how to do their job. So hire the highest level person you can hire. Yes?
Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, I don't know if this is an easy one to answer, but
I'll try.
Kind of on topic. So like right now our pipeline is manageable. It's very much like referrals, how you've been saying. What's the breaking point to know I have too much on my plate, I need to hire another designer, or to say, you know, like, yeah, we want to take you on, we'll do it in 6 months or whatever it is. Like right now we just take on.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, you have 2 options, and one is you can have a waiting list, and the other one is you can hire. Right. So, well, it depends. It depends on how much business you're bringing in and how frequently you're signing new projects. If you're signing a new project a week or 2 a week, hire. And if your people are working overtime consistently for at least a month or 2 months, you need to hire. Okay? And usually we tell people that for every person on your staff, and this is billable or non-billable, it's about $250,000 of revenue that they are responsible for, whether they're billable or not billable. Okay, so if you're doing $1 million and you only have 2 employees, you need to hire. There are exceptions to the rule, and the exceptions could be if you're in maybe a mountain area where it is a resort area, then you might be doing $500,000 to $1 million per person. So it depends. Again, it's not an easy question to answer, but usually you can just use some of those tidbits that I just shared with you. Sure. Who else? Oh, good.
I love the advice you gave about like when you're the busiest, you need to be marketing the most, because I'm sure a lot of people here feel that pendulum swing where you're like super busy and then it all ends and then you have no new clients and you're freaked out. How do you prioritize that when you're stressed out because you have so much work to do that you're like, the last thing I need to do is get new clients? Like, how do you reflect on the future? It's going to be difficult if you
Your
don't do it
job
now.
is every day to market. Yeah. And so I would tell you the way you prioritize is you have to put your business development hat on first, and you do that the first couple hours of the day. So if you did 2 hours a day for 5 days, then you would be doing enough marketing to have a consistent pipeline. do it first. And the other thing I would tell you is if you put your client work before your marketing work, then you're going to be struggling with a pipeline. So always work on that first. Okay, what other questions? We have about a couple more minutes. Sure?
Are you accepting new clients?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
And we can help you. All right, who else has questions? Anybody else? Well, thank you guys so much, and I'll be here afterwards and love to chat with you.